All right, well, here we are. A difficult day, actually, but in honor of Jack McCarthy, the casual Jack, we have to do this. This is the idea for a podcast in response to all of the mixed martial art fans and combat sport fans out there. Anytime you make a comment and they call you a casual, not having any clue that you are a black belt in jiu-jitsu or some kind of whatever you could be, or just a fanboy like myself. So in honor of Casual Jack, we're going to keep going.
Sounds good.
You in?
100%.
Corey Sandhagen, TJ Dillashaw. Tonight, I'm excited. I think Corey Sandhagen has got this, unless TJ Dillashaw decides to wrestle. Now, Corey Sandhagen is an amazing striker. We saw that flying knee knockout.
Jack and I have fantastic sparring matches, no striking but wrestling, and a little bit of jiu-jitsu.
It's so much fun. Oh my god.
It's the best workout ever because
I just love, I love
just throwing you around.
All for
Combat
his,
sports, let's go.
all for his cousin Jack. May he rest in peace,
Absolutely.
Jack McCarthy.
100%.
So here's the thing. We've got to talk about first boxing. It was a difficult fight for me to watch without Jack in the room, but I got to say, I had every bit of belief that this fight was going to go one way, and it's the way it went. However, I do have to give credit. Holy shit. Does Deontay Wilder have a chin or what?
I think it's just a cinder block.
This reminds me a lot of Stipe talking about fighting DC.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been fucking training for this dude for 3 fucking years. Like, this is the only dude that I've been thinking about for this amount of time. And you would imagine, like, Deontay is like, why am I, or both of them are probably thinking, like, why am I still fighting this guy? It's 3 years later. Why do we keep doing this over and over again?
But that's 3 years after the second.
Part of the contract.
Right.
And so, and you know, fairness to Wilder, I suppose.
He stood in there. And you know what? I didn't watch it live, but I watched all of the replays of it, and it looked like a really entertaining fight. I mean, you take punches like that from the Gypsy King himself, and you are still alive.
Yeah.
And he's been in the ring with him how many times now?
I watched the whole thing live with the local talented boxer, and actually the mixed martial arts, but just getting into boxing, Dean Glazer, who we're going to have on.
What'd you do today?
What?
What'd you do today?
Worked. I woke up at 6:30 a.m., got to work, got my workout in, and now I'm here. What about you?
That's it? That's all you did today?
Yeah.
It was a chill day for you, huh? I woke up and I trained, went on a run, ate some food, looked at your girl's Instagram. That was really it. Whatever the fight date is, let's do it.
Yeah, man, I want to fight you. I want to knock you out. I've been thinking about it since that fight got. That's all I've been thinking about is knocking your ass out.
All right. Well, what happened at the weigh-ins when I weighed in and you were, I gave you a fist pump. You were all nice until they told you the fight was canceled. Then you came up to my car and you said something. Did you really want to fight?
We watched the whole thing, and I believed at one point that it was Wilder's time because he looked, knocked him down twice, and
Yeah.
Wilder's powers second to none.
It was fun to watch.
Where do you go here if you're Deontay Wilder, who I don't think will make
Retire.
up any excuses?
Retire.
No, go fight AJ. Who wins that fight?
AJ.
You think so?
I think Wilder's done, man.
I
think he's done.
I'll tell you what. He was a sore loser a little bit after, but Tyson Fury probably said some things that pissed him off. I like Wilder. I respect Wilder
For sure.
for what he did in his last fight. I don't dislike him. I don't know him.
Right.
I think if he were totally genuine when he was being interviewed, and if he was himself,
Yeah.
I think I'd probably really like him.
Agreed.
I respect his power. I respect his heart. His personality seems fake to me.
You have to respect the fact that he walks in the ring, right?
I would say the hardest part is now, right? Because you're that
After.
guy that nobody's like, oh, you need to have the next big fight. And this happens a lot with those contenders, right? Like, they get up to the John Jones, they get up to the Tyson Fury, they get up to these people and they lose. And it's like, okay, now I have to be in this weird place for 2 or 3 years to get back here.
Anthony
Like,
Johnson,
I think that's the hardest spot, right?
Donald Cerrone.
Yeah,
I can name a few.
Right now, Israel Adesanya, and he beat the crap out of
Vittori.
Yeah, 100%. And now he's got to go back and take all the people that Israel's
Anyway, so we've covered that. I always had to, if I had, I'm not a gambler, but if I was to bet, I don't know, $100 to 5,000, I guess I would have put my money on Fury
All day. The exact definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
You know who loves that saying? Uncle Chill's son. Loves the saying
Yeah.
all the time. I love
Except for he screams it and his face is really red when he says it, Chael.
You know what Chael loves more than anything? The rankings.
Yeah.
Or holding his
They don't mean a thing. So the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder saga's over, and shout out to the guy I watched all the time on Counterpunch Boxing. His name's Kurt, and they get Kurt Deville, I believe, and really smart, good guy. Check out his channel at Counterpunch. I think it's Counterpunch Boxing. I'll put it up after. But anyway, let's talk about mixed martial arts. And so Bellator, quickly, love the fact that MVP evened the score on that Douglas Lima match, because MVP to me is what makes this sport fun. I know he is fun. That guy's crazy. Yeah. So they'll have to probably do a rematch.
I think they do. The first one I thought was, I loved the first fight.
It was over fast, though. We didn't know.
I was fine with it.
So there's Bellator now. We had the Brian Ortega and Volkanovski fight since we last talked. What a fight.
Amazing. I loved it.
It's one of the most exciting fights I've ever watched. And that third, let's just be honest, that's probably the greatest round ever. Anybody's ever fought. Third round of that fight, when he gets those submissions in, and Volkanovski somehow, and it's so funny to watch the videos afterwards with Craig Jones and all these guys, like, thinking that this is like a thing they prepared for.
Did you see
it's
that?
It's one of the greatest things ever. Volkanovski
Shout out to the B team.
Oh my God, B team! Come on, man! You guys are like, come on. And it's the Danaher thing, right? Like, 100%. The second I saw it, I knew, because I've listened to so many podcasts with Danaher, and he was like, "Hey, we trained for the worst case scenario. We trained for the worst case scenario," and he got in the worst case scenario and got out of it.
To be in a mounted guillotine from Brian Ortega is the worst case scenario in that fight.
His entire name is based off of that.
Well, no, that's the next
that's
one.
the-
Yeah, so
that's
the
the-
triangle. Yeah, and then he gets him in his signature move, his signature technique that he's just done over and over and over again, thousands of times in his life. And to have Volkanovski there with his purple head, looking like a red grape that was about to pop.
And he's like, "No, I will not give up. I don't care if I die. We're not done."
I don't know how he did it. It was insane. Just pure grit.
And then we had a controversial bit with the ref and Kevin Holland. We've talked about guys.
Yeah.
2 podcasts. We've done 2.
We've done 2 on that one.
Kevin Holland, we love you. You're just one of those fighters that just you relate to. We relate to. I feel you somehow. He's so honest about everything. And,
I just like his style.
Yeah.
I like it. He sits there and talks.
and he looked good, by the way. His that wrestling defense was good. And then
Shout out
The
to
headbutt.
DC.
The headbutt.
Then the headbutt. So what do we say about the headbutt? I mean, so it was obviously
Accidental.
but it wasn't intentional strike. It impeded the ability to fight.
Well, it determined the outcome of the rest of the fight. Right. So when that happens, it should be a no contest. Now, what happened between the time that it happened and the time that they came back and said that it was a no contest?
Because that's something I wanted to talk about, because it was the most insane thing I've ever seen. So you have a mic'd up ref who's talking to another ref,
And the commission.
and they're like I don't know what I saw. I don't know this. I don't know that. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, please cut the mic. Please cut the mic.
Cut
Like,
the
You got to
you
see
want that.
the inside part we don't want to know about.
Yeah,
Because
100%.
it felt
A little
like
bit.
who was the ref again?
Well, Herb Dean was there.
No, Herb Dean is like
Herb Dean was the one talking to the main
Correct.
ref.
I mean,
I feel like it was Dan Mergliata.
okay,
Right,
we'll
whoever.
go back to- I feel like he would have made it anyway.
Jack would have known. We
stink, Jack. would've known.
Sorry. We'd have known. We'd have
Point being,
known.
though, either way, two, and they're all good, right?
They
Like,
are.
I-
all
you
great.
can give them all crap, but I wouldn't want that job. But the thing
No.
is here getting the inside scoop of, well, I don't know, how do you feel you saw it? I don't
Yeah.
know what I saw.
And also, you have the commission there. You have Sean Shelby there. You have everybody in the circle, and you're like, wait a minute, it doesn't work like this. And they're like, maybe it does. I
Yeah.
don't know.
The
Like,
weird
how can you have everybody in the circle like talking about a win?
And the
With
weirdest part about it was when I think it was a commission member literally says to whoever the referee
Can you
was,
sleep at night?
"What can you sleep with?" He
That's
says,
an odd
"What
question.
can you sleep with?"
What was that? That's a loaded or leading question, isn't it?
100%.
Like, what can you sleep with? That's like saying it's on your conscience.
You're
not
just
mine.
making up
And this is the
outcome
part
now.
that I was like, why are we on camera right
Yeah.
now? Why are we mic'd
Right.
up? Like, can you sleep at night? You're like, Jesus, this is what it's come to? Like, this is how
I kind of
it's
like it
set,
though
man.
because it was a good, they're a good organization, and you get into a moment like that where it's like, I don't think he saw it.
Pure panic.
He didn't see it.
He was on the
didn't see
wrong
it.
side.
No, he was on the
Then
complete
he saw
opposite
it in the replay and
He was
couldn't
like, I
take back
can't.
what he
Yeah.
couldn't unsee it.
He's like, "Nope, that's a no contest."
The
So,
best thing he
it was
did
the right
was
call.
when he put his
It
hand
was.
up. When he put his hand up, do video replay.
Yeah.
That saved his life.
It
He
absolutely
put
did.
his hand up and said, "Okay, video replay,"
Agreed.
and that allowed him to go to the side. And thank God he did, because if it was anything other than a no contest, we'd have a completely different conversation right now.
Okay, so now upcoming, what do we have coming up?
We got
Let's talk about what we got coming up.
great shit.
And so let's talk about. We can get to the is Glover and
Ooh, Islam's fighting too.
Glover is fighting
Jan
Blachowicz.
so that one right there, that's a toss up for me.
Really?
Like,
No.
you think Blachowicz gonna
Oh
win?
yeah, Jan 100%.
No,
I don't know
think
100%. I don't know
He's gonna hurt him
100%.
in submitter. He's got good jiu-jitsu too.
It's very good jiu-jitsu.
Jan's
I'm
gonna knock
going.
him out.
I
That's
love
not a
Jan
good question.
Blachowicz. I'm going with mark my words.
Okay.
Glover Share is gonna win it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a young guy.
I love him. I actually like him. I think I like them both. I'm a fan of both.
I'm a stylebender guy, so him beating stylebender, he's going to beat everybody.
I'm a stylebender guy too, but stylebender had to go up
A weight
fight
class.
a guy that was probably 225 by the time he got into the cage, and
At least.
stylebender was like barely 205.
But
Yeah,
stylebender's fought all the way up to heavyweight,
True.
and he is so special. Like, I don't know.
I agree. No, he probably would win that fight about 4 times out of 10, 5.
I think Teixeira, since his last loss, has become a different fighter.
My name's Jack McCarthy, and I crush people.
I'm the king of the casuals, a casual king, cause I'm in the man bringing you the casual thing. The king of the casuals, a casual king. The king of the casuals, a casual king. King of the casuals, a casual thing, cause I ain't